Okay, hi guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm back again on Fanawe Nundumiso Zungu, and today it's a freshest episode. First time having a guest, one of our important guests we need to have. We
Yeah.
always wanted, man. So I'm having it up. Let him introduce himself. Brother, up to you.
Yeah. I'm the guest today, and my name is Mike, and I'm a software developer, and I'm also a bartender, and um, I'm a I'm a podcast host as well, in the tech industry. So I think I'm doing some great and interesting projects in the tech ecosystem. I think that's very, very interesting. That's what I've been working on,
Oh shit.
and I'm a Cape Townian. I'm from Cape Town, and this is where I've been for the most part of my life. So I've been living in Cape Town for like over 10 years now. So yeah, and I'm originally from Zim. So and I'm 19 years old.
Oh
I'm still
shit.
a teenager.
Still a teenager.
I think that's a good
That's an interesting.
introduction about myself.
Oh shit. So I don't wanna just I just wanna
Obviously.
go overlook before we just get deep into the tech industry and stuff like that. Um, the I want us to touch on the like how you grow up before, like where did you study at school, and then after school. Just take us just back to your background just before we
Oh
just
yeah.
go deep in the working stuff.
Totally. Obviously, growing up, I grew up in Cape Town, and growing up, I had a very challenging upbringing, right?
Mm.
Because when I was in my early days in primary school, I used to be very good in maths, in
Mm.
mathematics, and in those early days, I thought I was gonna pursue a career in banking. At
Okay.
some point, I thought I was gonna become an accountant or something like that. Something that involves numbers.
Mm.
So, and I think I when I was in primary school, I used to go for competitions, mathematics related competitions,
Mm.
and then when I got to high school,
Yes.
like things changed drastically, bro. Like very drastically, uh, because when I was in primary, I used to be almost like a nerd. I was always on my books.
One of those guys always
Yeah,
reading their books and
always
stuff.
on the books.
Yeah.
So, and then when I got to high school, I was like, yeah, man, now I have a bit more freedom, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
shit.
and then obviously I lost it, bro. Like my maths skills dropped, my marks started dropping, and I
Dropping
wasn't
also, yeah.
that good at it anymore. And then I was like, shit, man, my marks are not that good. I think this banking thing, it might not be the path I would take. And so when I got to high school, I started playing sports. So when I was in primary school, I was already playing sports. Like I was playing soccer, I was doing cross country, like races and like long distance races.
Mm.
And then I was pretty decent at it. And then when I got to high school, I was like, I think it was like around 14 at that time. I was 14 years old at that time. Then I was like, man, since I'm into sports now, and my mates marks are
Dropping.
dropping, let
Okay.
me try this.
I need to try something else now.
Something
Yeah.
else. So I was like, okay, let me try to become a soccer player. Let me try to be a footballer.
Mm.
And then, bro, I got so hooked into sports that, like, bro, I was that type of guy in high school that you could ask any question about soccer, I would tell you like right away.
Which sport did you love the most?
I love soccer. Yeah,
Soccer.
I love soccer. I thought I was gonna make it. I was very confident, and then I joined a soccer club. And then I was playing. I was going for trials. I was doing all this type of stuff.
Which position were you playing?
It's very interesting because I started as a winger.
Uh-huh.
So and then like things were not very good because I was not very fast. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe I can move to right back because
Okay.
in soccer, like when you're a right back, you can
also move forward.
yeah, on the wing, and you can play very good. And so I was doing good. I was playing for the club at that time, and
What was the name of the club?
it was called Bellstar.
Okay.
Bellstar United. That was like my first.
Is it still?
Yeah, it's still around.
Cape Townians, they know.
It's definitely in in the law. So if
Okay.
you go into these leagues,
Yeah.
in these amateur leagues, you will know about the football club. But anyway, so that happened, right? Playing for the club, and I played like 2 seasons back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at that point I was like very very hooked into this thing. I generally believed like I was gonna become a pro. Um, I remember I had a friend of mine who was playing for a club called Vesco da Gama,
Basket the camera, yeah.
and my other friend again he was playing for a club which used to be known as IS Cape Town, and now they call them
Yeah.
Cape Town
Cape
Spurs.
Town Spurs, yeah.
And that guy, like we were in the same school, bro. That guy, he became pro. I remember he went to the AFCON under 20
Oh shit.
with
That's
South
dope.
Africa, right?
That's dope.
And he made his debut for Cape Town Spurs in the league. I think it was like a year or two ago. But anyway, like you get it right. Like I was like very much into
You're
this.
passionate about it.
Yeah, and so um going down that route, and I would go to the gym, I would eat healthy, be like an athlete.
Yeah.
So my plan was to turn 18 because my plan was to finish school and then go overseas. So I was planning to go to countries like Scotland, in the UK, or even like go to Denmark, because in these countries there is a lot of competition, but it's not as much as like England and these type of
Yeah.
countries. So I was like, okay, let me just finish high school and then we
And
could
then go there.
And then COVID happened, right, in
Oh,
2020.
2020, yeah.
When COVID happened, bro, like I was now 16 at that time. So in soccer, like bro, time goes by real quick, and you need to do everything while you're still young, while you're still a teenager. You need to make sure you
You
get
get to that point
Yeah.
while you're still fresh, because
Yeah. because
there's it's a career with a short term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in soccer, in sports in general, bro, when you are like 25, 27, you are in your prime now.
Yeah.
Because by the time you're 30, you are
You're old. They regard you like you must retire now.
So what happened was when COVID hit, I um I spent so COVID hit us in February. That's when we went into lockdown. So I was still optimistic, like okay, by the end of the year things will be back to normal. And then 2020 was completely shut down. Like I did nothing related to sports. I remember when the year came to an end. That's when I started trying to go out when lockdown regulations were starting to loosen up. That's when I was starting to like run a little bit and do those kind of stuff. And then I was like, this year was bad, but I'll see it next year. I'll come back and try again next year. And then when next year came, things were coming back to normal in 2021. That year I was in my 11th grade.
Okay.
So at this point in time, look, man, I was in grade 11. I had a year left of school, and now I had already come to a conclusion that, man, I'm not going anywhere school. Like I'm getting very average grades. I'm not gonna become a lawyer. I'm not gonna become a doctor. I'm not gonna become an accountant. So let me go all in on this thing. So 2021 came, and then I had hope like, okay, let me start off fresh. I didn't play soccer for a year now. Maybe I can try to go all in this year. And then we spent 6 months, from January to June,
Sure.
Of 2021. It was like borders were opening up, industries were opening up, but like you still had to wear masks and all those type of safety regulation. And like soccer is a very contact sport. We are getting in contact with each other, and like it was very unsafe. Like that's what they said. They told us at that time. So they didn't open up for like three quarters of the year.
Shit, yeah. So after under COVID, yeah, even after they opened, but they were still cautious about the.
Exactly. So when June came, when June 2021 came, I still remember this so clearly. I started changing a lot. Like a lot of like I was now going through a little of a change, because at that time I was I think I was 17 at that time, and I was like, man, look here, I'm in South Africa, and I'm not playing semi-pro, because like there are hierarchies, right? This is the pro level, and then underneath the pro level is the semi-pro.
Yeah.
So in the semi-pro, there's this tournament in South Africa, the Motsepe League.
The Motsepe Foundation League. Yeah.
Motsepe Foundation, and then there's underneath that it's amateur now.
Oh yeah.
So I was now still at amateur, and I'm 17 years old.
Things that you can feel like
something is not working here, because at least if I'm 17 years old and I'm here,
at least in the Motsepe League, or maybe you're starting to,
Yeah, you're starting to blossom. Like people, especially.
But you're still young, man.
Yeah, especially.
You're still at time. I think you gave up early.
Do you think so?
Yeah, man. I think you had time.
And the thing is, like when when you are that young, you are very, very ambitious. You think to yourself like,
Things must work.
things need to work, especially as early as possible. You're visioning yourself playing for Man United at 20.
Okay.
That type of pressure.
Yes,
So
yes.
when June came, I'm like, maybe this thing is not working. I don't know when these things are gonna open up. And when they open up, I'm probably gonna need to start looking for a club, and I mean like a top-notch club now because I can't stay amateur. I'm growing
Are you
old.
growing old enough?
I'm going back to where I was now, of like in that moment. So I decided, and at that time I could feel it in
Which
me,
year is
like
this? It's
it's
2020.
2021
Okay.
when I was in my 11th grade. Like
Okay.
we are mid-year now, in the middle of the year now, and it's a turning point. So I remember that time, I was at home, I was going to school and stuff like that, and I started um searching on YouTube about entrepreneurship, and then
Mm.
I'm like, man, these things sound interesting, right? And then I got into financing and things like business related content. I started consuming business related content, and then I got very interested by that. But I'm not gonna go deep into that, right? That's not like very relevant. But you should just know, like, I'm just a normal kid on YouTube watching like business content,
Business
like how to
content.
start a business and stuff like that. And then one thing that interested me, right, was social media.
Mm.
Like I was hooked by guys like Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, these guys who started tech companies. That's what I was. That's
You
what
were looking that
fascinated me.
big, those big guys,
Yeah,
man.
like I was like, yeah, this is cool. I mean, you would see kids in those documentaries I was watching on YouTube. I would see guys like Mark Zuckerberg in his room on a laptop, bro, like just coding, writing
Yeah.
code for Facebook for the applications. And I was like, man, this is really, really interesting.
But I don't wanna cut you, but I wanted to take this like step by step because
Yeah.
people they don't really understand what's going on. So when did you fall in love like with coding, or maybe to put it like in easy terms, what makes you like think about, okay, now I want to go to coding?
Yeah.
And before you answer that, can you please maybe explain what is coding?
Okay. Anyone, let me just get into this, right? So in that moment, right, where I was, where I got hooked by these business and coding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I think it took me like about a month or 2 months later, where it was in August. That's when I decided, like, man, I'm gonna go down this route now. Like, I thought to myself, okay, maybe if soccer comes back next year, I might give it a go. That was now 2022. I was hoping like when it comes back 2022, I will give it a go. But in that moment, I was like, man, I'm gonna fully focus on this thing now. And so I got into, and then since I was spending a lot of time on YouTube, I started like searching about things like how to create a app, how to create a website, and answering your question about what coding is. Coding is you it's to put it in simple terms, coding is the way you create these applications that we use every day. Like you can think of the Mr. D app, Take a Lot app,
Oh, sure.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X as they call it these days.
Yeah.
But that it's basically creating these platforms.
So it's like a behind the scene of WhatsApp or any
Yeah,
app. It's
yeah,
like a
exactly.
behind the scene. It's what's the engines.
It's the agent that's running behind the scenes. Like because when you're using these apps, you only see the
The pop-ups, the
yeah.
message. I see that, okay, I want to order a pizza. I just go there.
Yeah.
But I don't know what makes that connection,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
thing.
Like coding, especially, that button that you press,
Yeah.
it was created. It's running in the background. That when you press a button, it does a certain function.
It just functions like this. Okay,
Yeah. So
okay.
that's it in simple terms. When you're interacting with them, like sending a message on WhatsApp,
Mm.
it sounds simple, using the app, but there's a lot of software behind the scenes that is
Okay.
functioning.
But now, bro, out of all the work, out of all the businesses, I understand that maybe you are interested, you are young, passionate, you want something, you feel like, okay, now school is not working out. I'm not gonna be a doctor, I'm not gonna be a lawyer, I'm not gonna be a teacher. Or
Yeah.
basically maybe these professions are not working. These are not okay, sports is not working at the time. Okay, maybe I need to go to business. Good step. You're young, very, very like
Ambitious,
intelligent.
yeah.
It's intelligence of you to just make this step. But out of all the businesses that were operating that time, what made you like go for coding?
Yeah, that's a good question because I thought like you see one thing about coding, right? It's the accessibility of it. Because I think one thing that inspired me, right? If you look into tech companies,
Mm.
if you look at Apple, if you look at Amazon, look at Facebook, they have a lot of similarities.
Mm.
And is that they started, either in a guy's garage or in a guy's room, things like that.
They have
Like
those stories.
those types. So I was like, bro, I can create my own thing, my own software right here where I am. I just need my laptop and my internet connection. Then who knows? I can start my own business, and uh, I can start right here where I am.
Mm.
So I think that was very, very inspiring. So I think one thing that about my story is the self awareness, knowing that look, I think this thing might not work. I might pivot somewhere else, and when I pivot, this is what success now looks like.
Oh
Because
shit,
like when I
that's
was in
dope, bro.
sports,
That's dope, yeah.
right, success for me was like, look, bro, I'm a very ambitious person, and success for me in sports was like playing for Manchester United, playing for
You
Chelsea,
look big. You
look
look
big.
big.
And then
Yeah,
and
dream
then
big.
my,
Yeah.
my, my thought was like, okay, what if that does not happen? Man, if I can play for my Melody Sundowns, that would be good.
That would be good. Yeah.
So and then I saw like, okay, I'm self-aware. Like this thing is, I'm going nowhere with this thing. Let me uh, pivot into something else. Obviously, I discovered early on that, look, man, I'm not going to succeed with school. Let me pivot into sports. I'm not going to succeed with sports. Let me pivot
So
into
you're a type of person who always got plan A and plan B.
Nah, I don't recommend plan A and plan B, right? But I recommend being self-aware of yourself.
That
And
if
and
this might not happen, that I need to.
I need to shift and fast, like shifting fast. That's the same thing when it comes to startups. I'm very, very interested in startups, especially companies that are still in early stages.
Yeah.
Because in those early stages, you need to know, like, man, maybe this business model that I'm following is not working. Let me shift
To this direction now.
into a different direction instead of investing into this one plan despite it not working. I think it's a very good like self-awareness is very, very, it's a very, very good skill because it allows you to pivot into a different path, and you will define what success looks like in that path.
No shit.
So like one thing also now, it's 2021, and it's now in the second half of 2021. I'm in grade 11, and I decided, look, I'm now focusing on programming. So I started going on YouTube. I started going on, like, there are so many resources online
Dope.
that you can learn how to code. There's Udemy, there's LinkedIn Learning, there's YouTube, there's on Twitter.
Mm.
On Twitter, there's a big community of software engineers,
Oh shit,
like
dope.
software engineers who work at big companies like Google, Facebook, Meta, even here in South Africa, software engineers who work at Luno, who work at Takealot, software engineers who work for big companies. So I got involved in all these communities, and then I was like, man, I love this.
This is, you
Because-
start to feel that
Yeah,
now,
like-
bro. Yeah, like this
man.
is right. I think this feels good.
Yeah,
This
I
feels
think
right.
because I thought at that time I had tried a lot of things. I remember that in 2021, earlier on in the year, because since I was still in sports, I had started a sports brand. So that sports brand was called Kickoff.
Okay.
So I wanted to start like a South African sports brand, something that is authentic. And I remember that time I was uh, doing content on social media, and I got to a point where I had 5,000 like followers on Instagram on that page.
Oh shit,
For that
that's
sports
dope.
brand.
That's dope.
So and then what ended up happening was that like sometimes when it comes to growing on social media, like you want it to happen quick. So but you
Yeah.
don't see that slow growth, and then you'll be like,
You don't take it serious, that small growth. That's
Yeah.
2 followers, 3 followers. you're
And
like,
they make a difference.
They make a difference because if you add that's 5 and 4 and 3,
Yeah.
they add up to something.
Yeah. So I think I ended up giving up too early on that. And then so when I got started with coding, I was like, man, this is it. I think this resonates with me. So what happened is that I spent the last half of that year of 2021 just learning on YouTube, learning on online, getting involved in communities. And then by December 2021, bro, I had momentum. Like things were working. Like I didn't feel that way before, where you stick to something for 6 months and it's working. So what interested me the most was like I was doing everything on my phone. Like there are many what we call a code editor. So a
Yes.
code editor is where you write up your code.
Mm.
But in order for you to truly write your code and then you do that whole process where ordinary users find it on Play Store or something like that, it's a process and it requires a powerful machine like a laptop or a computer or something like that. And I didn't have that at that time. So the following year, which was last year
Last
now,
year now.
I was now in matric, and now the last year came with its own challenges, right? One of the challenges was obviously I need to go to the next level now because I've been doing everything on my phone. I need to get a
you've been learning it because
Yeah.
at the moment you're still like learning it. You haven't been like big, but you are learning.
still-
You're still like training yourself, getting familiar with this thing.
Mm.
Remember, you're not in school learning it. You
Yeah,
are learning it.
by yourself.
You're learning it by yourself. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
and then I remember the school that I went, they offered K classes. I think at that time last year, I think I was pretty good at it because I think they also used to call me in to explain certain topics that they were teaching at that time, and I didn't do K in school, by the way.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because you see, when I chose my subjects, when I was in grade 10, obviously I was still into soccer, so I was like, man,
which subject did you do at school?
I did maths, I did English, history, geography.
Oh, okay. You were like a humanities student.
Yeah, and I also did life science. Which is kind of funny because when I was over the years, I would get good grades for life science, but when I did my finals, I did pretty bad. So yeah, going back to it now, and then last year, I decided, look, my biggest goal for this year is to save up money and buy me a laptop. And then so my goal was from January to June, because when you're in school, money doesn't come.
Yeah, bro. It's hard, man. It's hard to make money, bro.
Even to make that 50 rand, it does not come easy. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna be disciplined. I'll buy my laptop in June, and then from June to December, then I'm going to learn to become ready to work in a company. And then when last year came, bro, it was so hard. The year finished without me even buying a laptop. I didn't even.
You're not even close there.
I was nowhere close. I last year was so difficult. I even lost momentum on my coding. Last year was a different year. I didn't. It sorted good, but it just didn't go. And I went for 6 months without even looking at it. So what happened is that I decided to focus more on my matric because I was like now thinking, because I always come back to self-awareness, right? Is that I knew, like, man, so it went nine months into the year, right? So I did my trials from preliminaries or something like your trials before you write your finals.
Yeah.
So
like a third term.
Yeah, it's almost like a third term. So after my trials, I was like, man, let me pause well. If things don't go well, I don't get my laptop and I don't continue learning to code on my own, at least I can apply for university with good grades and
continue
with in university, right? And then I just focused on my matric results, and then the year finished, I passed well, got my results. So at this point in time, I was like, man, like I've been in school for so many years. I need time. I just need time to rest, and I need time to.
You're one of those students who take like gap year.
Yeah, exactly. So so it came down to the beginning of this year where I decided I was not gonna go to university. I was not gonna go to college. Obviously, there was a lot of pressure, bro. I mean, you see, or the people study what now they're studying.
So did you make that decision of not going to varsity, or maybe you didn't get an offer, or you didn't apply at all?
I didn't even apply at all.
Yes, that's why. You're not interested.
No, it's not like I wasn't interested at all, but because, like, bro, I'm very self-aware, right? You see, when I first got into coding, I knew I learned that, look, there are different paths you can go. You can go do a computer science in university. We have what we call boot camps. Boot camps are like programs.
I know those programs where they like teach you and stuff. Yeah.
So boot camps are usually 6 months to a year. Some of them are even 2 years. I know there's a boot camp, a coding boot camp in here in Cape Town called Within Code. They teach students how to code, and they're doing fantastic when it
Shout
comes
out
to
to them,
teaching
bro.
them.
Shout out to them.
They are making the boot camps inclusive to communities and stuff like that, and they're doing phenomenal, you know. And sometimes boot camps, they are considered in the community, in the tech community, they call them. Um, Sometimes they put unrealistic expectations on their products and services, meaning that you tell somebody, I'm going to teach you how to code in 6 months, and I'll help you get a job. So I think that's unrealistic because, bro, coding is so
It won't
hard.
take 6 months.
You don't take it 6 months, and then you get guys like Within Code. What they do is they tell you like, look, I'm going to teach you how to code in 2 years, and then you be like, okay, that sounds more realistic.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They're not
definitely,
selling your dream because they feel like they're selling your dream now.
and some coding boot camps, right? They do teach you how to code, but it's very intense. They want to get things done by 6 months, and you know it's not gonna feel good. You've been doing this thing for 6 months
But
and you still don't
but
understand.
but to me, it feels like they just hinting you up. They
Yeah.
just teach you what you need to know. Then it's up to you. That
Yeah.
okay, you need to
upskill yourself.
upskill yourself. You know, not like our nurses that we have here in South Africa. They study for 3 years, but they're still making mistakes.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So coming back to that, right? I was like, so I said there are different paths you can take. There's also what we call in the industry, right? I hate using this word, which is called a self-taught software engineer. So basically, a self-taught engineer is a person who goes on these platforms, like YouTube, or these resources.
sorry, while you're speaking about that, there's this guy on TikTok. He's living here in Cape Town, but I think he's from where I come from in KZN.
Yeah.
Because he speaks Zulu. Forgot his name, but it's very popular on YouTube. I think it's. But he has a drone, so people they love the way he talks. He always say "Gaindizis" or something like that. You know, he's always like flying his drone and stuff. But what really caught me like with content yakhe, it's when I think I watched that video today. So he was explaining his journey. So he said he was on Google or something, and then he saw this line saying if you wanna like, I can't put it exactly the way he did, but he said if you wanna loosen your mind or you wanna think differently, you need to move from to a different place. Then it's gonna help you like you know,
it's gonna give you a fresh
fresh.
perspective.
And then that's what made him wanting to come and study here in Cape Town. So Wafunde UCT, I think he was doing something engineering stuff. On the last year of the course the last year, I think it was the third year, he dropped out.
Okay.
He dropped out, and when he dropped out, he had a company called, I just forgot his name, man. I will remember his name. And then he dropped out, but he got a job like as a software engineer.
Okay.
He's also doing like the type of programming. I just hope one day I can reach to him. I could reach to him. Like
we should reach to him.
he's a cool guy. Like I look at his content. He has nice equipment. He's like, you can see that guy is passionate. He's fun. The way he creates his content is very fun. But on the comments, I saw someone saying, how can you get a job without a qualification? So it just comes to us. Are there people who are doing software development, programming and stuff, but without university qualifications? Can you do it?
Yeah, you can do it, absolutely. You know, right now, you know, when I first got into software engineering, going back to that period in June 2021. So one of the strategies that I took was I started listening to podcasts, like coding podcasts and stuff like that. So I would hear about people in Europe, in the United States, in those type of markets, people who are getting jobs, top paying jobs without qualifications, without degrees, without any certifications. They taught themselves.
It's really like interesting. You know?
It's very interesting. You know, I think they just taught themselves, or they went through a boot camp, and then they gained the skills that they need for the job. And I saw people were getting jobs in these markets. So one question that I had was, is it the same here in South Africa?
Yeah.
Is it the same here? So obviously lately I've had the I can say lately I've been lucky to get to speak with people in South Africa who got jobs without degrees, without these fancy qualifications. Because, bro, trust me, one of the reasons, going back to that question that you asked me about why I didn't bother applying to university or college, these institutions are very expensive. You know, they're very, very expensive. Obviously, you get guys like NSFAS and that type of route, but despite that, like, university is expensive. So, by the way, yesterday I spoke with a guy. You know, his name is Malcolm. You know what he did? He he was in university. In his third year, he got a job as a software engineer, and he dropped out of university, and then he worked. Obviously, he came back to continue to graduate and stuff like that. So the answer to that question is totally you can get a job. Software engineering is a career field that demands more about your skills than the
More than the
qualifications.
qualifications.
Yeah, because I think it's different to being a doctor. Being a doctor is more about how qualified you are. But I think with software engineering, it's more about your skills and what problem you can solve.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, and your experience and stuff. Like.
Yeah, I mean, especially in these current markets, if you do have a lot of skills and you bring a lot of value to the table, and I think you can get a lot of entry level jobs, you know, like junior software engineering jobs. There are a lot on the market. So I think like software engineering is a very nice career. You know, there's a little barrier to entries, and it's very lucrative as well. You can make money in the industry. So so going back to that topic, right, about uh, not going to uni, I think it was a decision that I took fully aware, like I was very self-aware that look, I'm not going to take that path, because for one reason it's I thought it's in this way. Look, if 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 I can try to go the self-taught route, it's going to be more difficult because there's no structure. I have to create my own structures, and obviously I am going to get a lot of certifications along the way. I'm going to take a lot of courses, uh, but it's not structured, you know, like in a university where you know, like,
They
okay, it's
give
gonna
you the certain like
yeah, a nice structure of like where it's gonna be a 4 years, and then you're gonna learn the fundamentals, the basics, and then by the time your 4 year degree comes to an end, you would have been you would have been at a good level. So I have to create my own structure, right? So I think I was aware that look, I'm not going to take uni, I'm not going to take a boot camp. I'm going to go through this route, and I'm going to be disciplined enough to learn the skills that I need, and I'm going to market myself to get a job. So again, to continue on that story of this year, right? So this year came. I was a kid at the beginning of the year, no job, no university, nothing. I'm just a
you're done
kid
with your
there.
matric now.
Yeah,
Now
I'm
you
in the real
see
world.
after life, the real world.
Yeah, and then I'm just a kid. I think you could say who's naive, who was a dreamer. You know, I mean, there was a time at the beginning of the year where I was just sitting at home and just imagining myself working at a big company, at a big tech company, doing what I love. So obviously, that's my dream. You know, my dream is to one day work at these companies like Apple. And I so what I did was, okay, I do have a dream, but I need to. They say Rome was not built in a day, so you need to lay brick
Lay
by brick
brick by
by brick
brick by
by
brick.
brick. So I decided, okay, this is the plan now. Um, I'm not gonna. I'm turning 19. I tried soccer, soccer failed. I tried going the educational route, educational failed. So now I need to succeed at this thing. You know,
This is like
yeah,
this is it.
this is it now. You know, I'm not getting any younger. I don't know. Like I always put emphasis on my age. I don't know why. Like I
And you're
always,
still young, but
yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, the first step is that I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna start making money. I'm gonna buy the equipment that I need. I'm gonna be able to finance my courses, and I'll take it step by step. So when the year started, I'm a big believer in New Year's resolutions. You know, New Year's resolutions, like when the year's starting up, you tell
This is
yourself,
what I do. This is what I do. I want to be here. I wanna
step
be
by
here.
step.
Yeah.
I wrote like on a page the type of books I want to read, the type of habits that I want to develop, and so luckily, I started going to Cape Town, Camps Bay. Yeah, but we're looking for jobs in the restaurants, in waterfront. Obviously, it's never easy when you're starting out because you don't have experience. You know, you need a guy who's gonna take a chance on you, who's gonna give you
Believe
an
in you,
yeah.
yeah.
So this other day, it's kind of funny how I got the job because you see, a day before I had been in waterfront and it was not a successful day. I didn't get a job. It was back in February,
Mm.
and then I just decided on one hot sunny day that I'm gonna wear my cap, a shorts, and a t-shirt. And I'm gonna go to Tiger Valley because I had a friend of mine who used to work at Tiger Valley Mall. So I decided, okay, made a lot of copies of my CV, of my resume. Then I started going restaurant to restaurant. I went to Ocean Basket, Asami's, all these Spur, and I just dropped my CV. Dropped my CV. I think one thing that I'd learned was how to approach people and how to
Mm.
almost like negotiate, and
Yeah.
put yourself out there and be
More
professional
like
about it.
selling yourself.
Yeah, selling yourself. I think I'm very big in terms of marketing myself. That's what that. I think we're gonna speak up more about that when we get into LinkedIn.
Mm.
So when they and then I remember when I was in Tiger Valley Mall, right? My other friend told me, "Hey man, look, there's a Willow Bridge over there. Just go there and drop your CVs there." And then that time I ran out of CVs that day, I still remember. And then he gave me some money. I made more copies.
More copies, and
And
then
then I just dropped. I went to. I remember. So this is kind of funny, right? When I went to the place where I currently work, right? I walked past it. I was like, man, this place.
uh,
I just didn't feel comfortable. And then I went to restaurants opposite, like Okashio. I went to Sushi Box. I went to Omeo. And I just dropped my CV. I went to Sweet Beat as well. Got to speak with the manager there. And then lastly, that's when I came to this restaurant. And then I was like,
okay.
let me just
Let me
just
try it.
let me
Let me
try
try it. Let's see what happens.
And then I entered there. I just said to one of the waiters, "Hey, he's a manager here." Then at that time it was Dan was the manager there. Then I just gave him my CV, and then we spoke for a few minutes. He was like, "Bro, you are a good guy because of the approach I took." I was like, nice handshake, professional type of thing.
But acting like a big guy, you know.
Like a big guy. So and then a week later,
Hmm.
he gave me a call. He's like, "Hey man, come on Monday. Come for an
Come,
interview."
come and try. Eh?
So this is the first and the interesting part that happened. I actually had applied for a spot in Cape Town,
Mm.
and so I had two interviews on the same day.
Shit.
On that day, so I decided, okay, it was like 1 hour apart. I decided, okay, let me first go to Tiger Valley at Tavern and speak with this guy, and then after I'm done, then I'll go speak with this guy in Cape Town, and then I just choose the best offer. So so what happens is that look here, right? One thing I would really like to talk about is when he gave me a call.
Mm-hmm.
The night before I was partying with my friends. It was my friend's birthday.
Oh shit.
So when I came back home the next day, I was like, I just wanted to sleep.
You're tired, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. So I just slept, and my phone rang like 3 times, and I didn't pick up. And then he sent me a message on WhatsApp.
yes.
So that's how we got in contact. And then I was like, wow, this guy.
It's really like doing
Yeah.
this job, like.
Yeah. Because some people like
If they don't get you on call, like, okay, fuck, this guy is not serious.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So I was like, wow, man, this is nice. And so the Monday came, then I went there and then just told me, hey, look, man, we have a job for you, or you'll be working so many days a week, and this is how it's gonna be. Then I was like, okay, cool, I like it. He's like, you can start the next day, you can start tomorrow. I was like, okay, good. And then I left there, so I was like, guaranteed a job. I'm starting tomorrow. He told me I should come at 12 o'clock. Like, okay, cool. From there on, I went straight to take a taxi to Cape Town to this next
interview. Yeah.
So whatever was that, I was supposed to start at 2 o'clock. And then this driver, bro, like it's in the afternoon and he was driving so slow. Like he would stop, he would drive, stop, drive, stop, drive, stop.
And
So
you're running late
I'm
now.
running late, bro. And then when I got to Cape Town, I didn't know where this place is. Then I had to use GPS. And then it was now 2:30, and like it was hot, like very hot, sunny. And I ended up just saying like, fuck this, man, I'm going to that job.
Fuck, let me just, I'm not doing this anymore.
I'm not
Shit.
doing this. Let me go home. Took a taxi, went home, slept. Next day, went to my first job, and I started. And then they were like, okay. When I worked there for a few months, I managed to buy my laptop. obviously, because I still had that dream of mine,
Because
right?
that was the whole point,
That was
getting
the
a
whole
job
point of all this.
to
Yeah.
fund your. Okay, so now I just want us to jump on the on the part whereby you have your equipment,
Yeah.
you are doing this
Yeah.
now. So there's someone who's out there watching. Maybe he has a dream of doing this. I know that at the moment you're still like on your era whereby you are just trying to market yourself
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So for someone who's like really also interested, what can be your advice for someone who likes coding, especially in South Africa? In South
Yeah.
Africa, those type of stuff they are not really like
Yeah.
given to us.
And I think like I don't want to go a lot in like I'll get there, right? But I think there's one thing that's happening in South Africa, right, where you get these top skills like coding, um, because you see a career in tech and coding
Yeah.
is very vital because it's very huge. Because you see when you get into programming, you can take a lot of different paths. There's AI, everyone just talking about AI. There's what we call web development, where you create
It creates
websites
websites
and
and stuff. Yeah.
web applications, and then we have what we call mobile
Excuse me.
development. When it comes to mobile development, it's when you create applications that you use on your phones, like WhatsApp, right? So a good example, right, is you see when it comes to web development, you have you ever used or Facebook on a website like Chrome, or you
Yeah,
can
I know. Yeah, on
you can
login,
log
yeah.
in, right?
Yeah.
So there are people who build those web apps, and then there are people who build the application itself. Those are two different careers inside that
Oh.
same umbrella of tech.
Mm.
So my point is, there's a lot of paths you can take, and these jobs are high paying, are in demand. So um, and these type of things, if you go to white schools, if you go to white schools, they are easily accessible. But if you go to our local communities, there's a lack of accessibility.
Yeah, the thing it feels like to me, bro. I won't lie to you. To me, it feels like something that is
Yeah, it's mind
overwhelming.
blowing.
It's like mind blowing. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, is it possible to get a job whereby you can just? Because sometimes I even when we grew up, then and then after school we go and like can try and find jobs here in the malls.
Yeah.
And you see these guys, these white guys, maybe they sit down in a restaurant on their laptop. There's a lot of numbers, a lot of codes there,
Yeah.
and we don't understand what they're doing, but they're doing it. But they're working.
They're working.
I think
And
it's
they're
not
making
really easy accessible
yeah,
to us.
they are making a lot of money doing that. And then you have us guys who do not have access to these skills, these tools, and we're wondering like we are working hard, but we're not.
Getting a real
Yeah, and then you get these guys who are bringing value to the table, and they are living a dream life. So I think when it comes to um inspiring guys who are
really interested
who are really
also.
interested, right, is that if you are I think like one area that interests me is like South Africa in general, and I feel like the tech industry is growing. South Africa is a developing country, and there are many guys who are doing great work in startups. One area that interests me is the fintech area. You have guys who are making payments easier using software, using technology. So I think I'm very very optimistic, guys. If you are in universities, if you are just a kid learning to code, I think one thing I can say is that you should be persistent. You shouldn't just give up. I think you should have a why, like something bigger. You're not just learning something like
Just
I
doing
think
it for the sake of just.
you must uh, you must be passionate about it. You must have an approach of trying to bring value, and because software engineering is a very very good career to pursue, and it's one of those fields where if you finish if you graduate, you're not going to struggle to get a job. The demand is high, and one thing I can just say to folks, is just keep going. If you're already into that path, just keep going. I think, but if you are listening and you are considering pursuing a career in software development, I should say like it's a very very good career path to pursue. It's accessible. That's one thing I like about it. It's accessible. Like you can go on YouTube, but just watching tutorials on YouTube,
You can gain some
learn.
skills.
You can gain some skills, and You can learn how to build simple websites using HTML and CSS. You can learn different program languages, the accessibility of it, and it's got a huge community around the world, even in Cape Town, even in South Africa.
So these people building like WhatsApp GP is also one of the guys. This guy's doing
Yeah,
the.
like they're programmers, programmers, and I think my piece of advice is just like go for it, bro. You should just go for
You
it.
never know.
You never know, yeah.
Okay.
So I think with my story right now, I think I'm I'm in that place. I'm in that place that I've always wanted to be, right? Because I do have the equipment that I need. I am learning how to code. I'm doing some courses as well. I think right now is definitely I'm in a place that I've dreamed of being a year or two ago, and I think for me right now, I get to network with software engineers, with people in the industry, and I think for me right now it's just a matter of time until I get that first job in the industry.
Okay.
And that would be a dream come true, to be honest. Obviously, the hardest part is getting your foot in the door. Once you have the foot in the door, it's
Then-
all up to you now. Like how you evolve and how you grow.
How you grew up.
And
So,
that's the same thing with soccer, right? Going back to soccer, is the hardest part is becoming a professional soccer
once
player.
you are there,
Once you are there,
then
it's up to you if you're gonna become the next Cristiano Ronaldo.
that's dope. That's dope. But and then now, I think we have covered the development and stuff.
Yeah.
So, we wanted to touch on the LinkedIn. Um, what other platform people they can use before we move to LinkedIn? What other platform people they can use maybe in order for them to learn the coding and programming?
Yeah, I think okay, just to make it simple, right? If you are entering software engineering, what I would recommend is there are a lot of free resources online. So I would say just start by learning. There's a website, it's called Free Code Camp. So Free Code Camp, they are based in the United States. They are a non-profit organization. They obviously we are not promoting Free Code Camp, but they do a lot of they're doing amazing work. They give free courses, free certifications as well, and I think they are a good resource when you are first starting out, just learning how to write your first program, like simple basic
From the basic stuff.
yeah, like your 1+1. So I think I really like them. They're good resources, and I would recommend people to go on YouTube to watch tutorials on YouTube. I would also recommend people to. I think once you use those two resources, I know there's a resource called Scrimba. So Scrimba, what they do is you have your instructor. He is teaching a concept, but he also gives you a challenge, like a challenge.
Okay, like a assignment, like solve this
right during the lecture.
Okay.
So I think they are a great resource and they're accessible.
Are there any from here in South Africa that are doing the same thing?
I think in South Africa, obviously, I've mentioned the boot camps, but they are more in person, right? I think like if you are like starting out, before you even decide to join a boot camp, I think you should first teach yourself the basics and decide if this is the path and commit. Yeah, I think once you pass that stage, I would recommend if you, depending on in what stage you're in your life, in your career, right? If you are in university, then you can definitely go pursue computer science. If you a computer science degree, if that's the path you want to take, or you can do the boot camp, right? Because boot camps are usually 6 months, as I mentioned to you, and they are shorter than university, right?
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of good boot camps out there. There's the one I mentioned within code. Then there's this one called Hyperion Dev. So Hyperion Dev is a South African boot camp. They partnered with Stellenbosch to create their courses with Stellenbosch University, right? So I think they are brilliant resources as well when it comes to learning to code. Yeah, that's the path you can take, and yeah, it's accessible.
Shit. Amen.
And again, when it comes to once you are done with everything, once you are a skilled software engineer, you can use platforms like LinkedIn. There's Indeed, remote work. These places to look for jobs.
Mm. Okay, while I think we are just going to LinkedIn now. I'm sure most people they know like LinkedIn. They see like there's this LinkedIn, Indeed. What's the other one? There's
I
this other one.
know you can also use
Those
Gumtree as well.
Gumtree and stuff. But what I've noticed now, people when they look for jobs, they only like put CVs and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you speak to like people who are like about HR and stuff,
Yeah.
they take like there's no need now. Like I feel like this is an old style now, bringing your CV like as
Yeah.
a hard copy, especially if you're looking for those
Top jobs.
serious jobs.
Yeah.
So I see you're very
You
active.
can take your copy to a restaurant.
Yeah, you can still take a copy to spy. It's fine. But when you're really like looking for a professional job,
Shop right.
I think you need to have these profiles and you need to be active on this like to see
These
the
platforms.
jobs opportunities.
Mm.
Because I've never seen like I've never seen like a application or maybe a poster saying maybe Apple Store is hiring a software developer. But I'm sure there are people who are doing
Mm.
that. I think those type of vacancies they are taken to these
Yeah.
platforms most of the time. So how did you like? I saw you have like more than 5,000 followers on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So how does that go? How is LinkedIn? How does it work and stuff?
Yeah, totally. You see, my LinkedIn journey is fascinating. So you see, when I first got exposed to LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a company that's been around for a long time now.
Mm.
But I first got exposed to LinkedIn in 2021.
Mm.
Before I got into software engineering.
So you started LinkedIn when you're still you're still
During
in
my
school.
soccer days, yeah, when I was still in school at that time. So basically, I remember I listened to this other guy called Nick Humphreys. He's also into the soccer world, and he said that if you want to get access to coaches and managers and recruiters and scouts, all this type of network, you will find them on LinkedIn. So, and then at that time, I was pursuing my soccer journey, and then I decided, let me create a LinkedIn profile for the first time. And then I created a LinkedIn profile, and then I grew it. It had about 5,000 connections. And then I was connected to.
What's our connections now?
So basically, you see, when you're starting on LinkedIn, right? If you don't have a creator, if you're not like in creator mode, that means you're not a content creator. So you are
Okay.
just a regular user.
So you move to a certain stage, or it's just when you create, you do it when you create your profile.
It depends. Like when you create your profile, you can either become a creator, meaning you're gonna create content on the platform. You can become like a guy who's just there to network and get jobs. So when you're there to network and get jobs, that means you want to connect up with like recruiters, with people in that industry.
Okay.
So
Okay, it makes sense.
when you are a creator, when you are a content creator, that's when you start gaining followers. That means you're creating content on the platform. So I think it's a good tool for LinkedIn because it allows like, okay, I'm not here to create content. I don't want to become an influencer. I just want to grow my network so you can connect up with people in that industry that you're in. So back in my soccer days, I reached a point of 500 connections. So when you have 500 connections and above, then you know like your LinkedIn looks good.
decent
Yeah,
now.
looks
Yeah,
decent.
looks decent now.
And one of the people who were in my connections at that time was this guy called Rolani Mokwena. I think you know him.
Roland Mokwena, yeah.
He's
Sundowns coach, yeah.
Sundowns coach.
Yeah.
So what that meant is, so the way it works is that if I send you a connection, so it's not going to connect immediately. I send you a connection in. It's almost like a request. I'm requesting for you to accept my connection. So once you've accepted my connection, that means we can
connect. We can talk now.
Yeah, we can communicate. Yeah. So at that point in time, I was like, damn, this is powerful because that means if I can connect up with Rolando Mokwena, that means
I can connect with anyone.
Yeah. And so when obviously when my passion for sports died out, I ended up deleting that LinkedIn profile. And then when I got into coding, I created a new profile, which is the one I'm using right now. So I think like LinkedIn is a very very good tool, especially if you can create your profile and if you can. Um, I think one of the most important part, right, that I want people to realize is when it comes to you need to specify what industry you wanna work in, right? I think that is
Okay.
very important because once you specify the industry you want to work in, then it recommends jobs for you.
And it give you those
Those
like
type of jobs,
yeah.
like for example, if you cannot say on LinkedIn that you are a teacher, but you want software engineering jobs, it's going to give you
Teaching.
teaching
Okay.
jobs.
Okay.
So I think one thing that I did good was in those early stages. When I was creating my profile, I mentioned that um, I'm into software development. I'm into software engineering. So it's always recommended me like software engineering related jobs. The only reason why I haven't gotten a job yet is because I haven't really gone that much into applying because I'm just waiting to be a
Are
bit qualified.
you still
I'm
like
still
developing
learning. I'm still
yourself? Yeah.
developing myself. I think once I'm ready, then I will start applying. And another thing about LinkedIn, right, is that with that system of connecting with people,
Mm.
you can connect up with the recruiters in all different companies with hiring managers.
All around the world, man. And
Yeah,
you can connect with anyone.
yeah, exactly. It's very, very powerful. I think, a few weeks ago, this other guy, he saw my profile and then he actually messaged me and he told me, hey, what have you been up to? I have a job for you, Stellenbosch. And that's another thing that's nice about LinkedIn is that if you do it correctly, you're gonna have recruiters reach out to you because they've seen your LinkedIn, they've seen your experience.
The way your page is professional and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. It's phenomenal. It's
Because
very
I'm
phenomenal.
one of those people who didn't like understand really LinkedIn how does it work. Because
Mm.
I do have a profile, but I don't like. I didn't even know like you have followers or you
Connections.
connections and stuff. I don't really understand what's going on. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
There
There are
are
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
people
people.
like who don't really like understand how does LinkedIn work. But I think we can create maybe a video maybe in the near
Yeah,
future whereby we do
we
like
break it down
break
step
it
by
down like
step.
a tutorial and stuff like that.
That would be great.
I think people will really appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
because LinkedIn it opens so much opportunities for you. Lately I've been having a lot of conversations with people in the industry, software engineering, because I think one of the most important part if you enter any industry is to gain mentorship.
mm,
If you can connect up with people who are more senior than you in that industry, and if they can mentor you, especially as a junior,
mm,
that's gonna increase your learning drastically because now you're learning from people who've seen it, who've done it, who are more experienced than you.
mm.
Because sometimes you think to yourself like, ah man, I found the shortcut, but those guys
And
who are
those
senior
guys,
than you, they've
yeah,
seen it.
they've seen it before, but they know about
They
it. Yeah,
know. So I
yeah.
think when you have mentorship, it makes your learning easier, because you avoid mistakes that people have made in the past. So I think with my LinkedIn, I'm able to reach out to senior software engineers who can be mentors as well. And I've been having conversations with them, and it's improved my it's improved my skills drastically. Yesterday I was chatting with this other guy who's a software engineer as well, and I told him about my story, and then he's like, "No, Mike, don't wait until you are like perfectly ready. Start applying the moment you feel confident in your skills and your
Once you
abilities."
feel like okay, now you can do it, then you
Yeah,
can start doing
yeah.
it. Now.
Because especially entry level jobs, they don't really require
A
you to
lot.
be an industrial expert or
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, like LinkedIn is like a window, I should call it, to your professional career.
Oh shit, man, that's dope. So I have like three questions now. So I think before like we go into the rap, I have like three questions now. First question is, do you think um tech industry and engineering industry is it given like fairly here in South Africa, especially for us like who are in like disadvantaged communities?
Mm.
How do you think it's really like exposed or giving the information?
Uh, you see,
How do you feel about that whole scenario? I can't put it like in simple terms, but how do you feel about the information? How is it given to us, like who are in like these communities? Do you think it's the government or maybe the system is it doing a good job in trying to give
okay,
us that information?
yeah, good. I think um, software engineering. You see, I didn't go to a privileged high school. I just went to an average high school in the community, and we had laptops, not laptops, computers, and it was it was okay, right? But I mean, if you go to great schools, like great schools, you will find out that I know some schools that even have IT as a subject, and they have proper infrastructures and proper setups. You know, it's all about the money, right? Also, when it comes to schools and stuff like that. But I feel like um, there's more to be done, especially in these not so fortunate backgrounds, right? Not so fortunate communities, in order to make tech inclusive. Because I mean, this is a talent that, I mean, if you go to where you're from, right, like Durban, right, and then imagine a lot of schools, they are exposed to IT, they are exposed to technology, they're exposed to this industry. They will find out like, hey man, I, if I can learn this, I can become very good at it, and it can become a skill. And I think especially us in South Africa, I believe we need people with these types of skills. People who are we need software engineers, we need experts, in their fields. We need people who are good at project management. We need people we need doctors. We need qualified experts. I mean, in South Africa, the unemployment rate is very very high, but these unemployed people, they don't really have a lot of skills. Like good, like real,
Good,
real,
real
real
good
skills.
skills. Yeah.
I think um with governments and stuff like that, I think there's a lot of work to be done to make these types of things accessible in schools, especially uh, when it comes to upcoming youths. Because in South Africa, I mean, everyone always talks about youth day and stuff like that, but we need to also start talking about how to upskill the youth, how to educate the youth. Bro, like uh, even like with the whole educational system, I feel like sometimes you it's all borrowed, for you to just study,
Sometimes you have to
memorize.
question. Sometimes we question it like, but it's not really giving us the
Yeah,
proper
the
skills.
proper skills. Yeah, like for example, I think there's this funny thing I heard on one of the social media platforms, is that you go to study about business management, right? And your expectation is that you're going to be business ready. You are ready to start your own startup. You're ready to start your own business. But then you realize the person who you're instructing that class, he has never started a business.
He doesn't know anything about
He
business.
read it from a book.
Yeah, and that's really dope, man. He never even started a business. Like,
Exactly.
are you, you my lecturer?
So
Have you even sold sweets in your life? Like, he doesn't even understand
they've
anything
never
about.
created a product or service. So I think we need to really really invest in a good quality education. Where it's based on education, where it's based on acquiring skills, not just memorizing random
Yeah.
information. And then I think that's where education failed me, to be honest. That's why I never really got it when I was in high school. That's why I decided early on that, nah,
Nah, this is
this
not
isn't working.
this is not gonna
Because
work.
even like in high school, I used to feel like something's wrong. Like I even started blaming myself. Like maybe it's
Mm,
me. I don't want to learn, or I don't want to go to school, or something's wrong with me. But I
yeah.
realized, like, why do I need to memorize things just to
Look,
get a good grade?
yeah, bruh. There's
And
a
sometimes,
textbook. There's a textbook here, but they say write those notes on the exercise book
yeah.
and then
And then you
memorize it.
sometimes you see the teacher marking with a red pen. You're like, is this what it's all about?
It doesn't really make sense. What skills are we learning
What
here?
skills am I learning here? I have friends, bro. They passed phenomenally metric.
Mm,
But I realized, hey, but I'm doing better in life than
mm.
them, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a difference between succeeding in school and succeeding in real life,
In real life.
in the real world. And I think one thing that I told myself was like, I might have been average in high school, but I'm not gonna be average in the real life,
In the real
and I'm
world.
gonna succeed. You guys, you got your bachelor's, you
Your
got your
7 distinctions, it's fine.
it's
It's
fine, but you're
fine.
not gonna succeed more
Yeah.
than me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make that 6-figure salary at some
Okay.
point.
Okay. And then my other question was, I know it's like a normal question where everywhere you go, they're gonna ask you this question. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
The next 10 years, wow, that's a very great question. And I mean, if you had asked me that question like 2-3 years ago,
Yeah.
I would have told you I would be at Manchester United. But today, I mean, 10 years from now, I'll be 29 years old.
Yeah.
Still young.
Still young.
I would like to see myself 10 years from now, like working at Apple. Or like not Apple specifically, but these types of companies, these
Big companies.
big tech companies. I know in the tech community we have a thing we call FANG. So FANG, it represents Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. What's about that? And then I think something like that. You see like FA blah 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 FANG, right? And every software engineer's dream is
to be on the FANG.
To work for the FANG. So it means that when you're working for the FANG, you're working for one of these big
for the big guys in the industry. And then for yourself, but like as a person,
I think one of my biggest passion right is teaching. I think if I don't work for the FANG, I would like to become maybe teach computer science in universities and stuff like that. Especially in South Africa, I would really love to. I love technology. I love the whole industry, and I would really love to educate, especially people from rough backgrounds, from not so pleasant communities, because I feel like there's no better feeling. Yes, if I go work for the FANG, bro, I'm making 6 figures straight away.
Easy.
Easy,
Rolls Royce, Ferrari, big mansion. Vacation, waking up, going to Starbucks,
what I mean?
shooting content.
I will live that life. But there's something different when it comes to if you can change someone's life. Yeah,
because this question, it's linked to the last question I have. My last question is.
You said something. What was your question before?
How do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years,
10 years,
and then you asked me about where do I see myself as a human being or something like that. It's my personal development.
Like personally, as a person,
yeah. Exactly. I think like
maybe what is your wish? Maybe what is your dream thing? Whatever. Like as a person, I see as a job.
Besides my career,
where do you see yourself?
Besides all these industrial money, and I think I do have a lot of areas in my life that I really want to grow. I think I want to be as open as possible. I want to grow, socially, and I want to gain more skills like communication with people. I want to connect more with people. At some point in time, I used to think I'm an introvert because I was the type of guy who just wanted to be on a device, on a screen. I don't want to talk that much with people, but I feel like if you want to make an impact in people's lives, if you wanna,
you need to communicate with people. That's good.
Because I think communication is power. Even if you become a manager, a CEO, any executive role, you need to have good communication skills. And I need to improve my communication skills. Obviously, I'm 19 and I have a lot of areas that I want to grow. I want to build relationships with people. Have close friends. I don't really have a lot of friends. So I want to learn how to make friendships with people.
And then family, stuff like that.
And I mean, in the next 10 years, definitely, if I ended up at a FANG, I would also love to have a small family on the side as well. And I also want to grow when it comes to my health. And I feel like no matter what you do, no matter how successful you become, your health is the most important thing. I once heard a quote that says, a man, he sacrifices his health to build wealth, but that same man is gonna sacrifice his wealth to rebuild his health.
Oh shit, that's dope, man. That's powerful. That's power. That's power.
We don't sleep at night, just
working.
You wake up in the morning, you come back at night, you're tired. I know guys who go to constructions and they fuck their body up.
Bruh.
But once you make it, once you become that billionaire, then you're gonna spend all that money.
That billionaire now to rebuild your health. Okay.
Where if you would have taken care of your health from the get-go, you would have been good. Because I believe that We don't have to. I know, like, there are many very brilliant-minded people out there. I'm not even speaking about worldwide. I'm speaking about in Cape Town. People who are building companies, CEOs and
Yeah, man.
executives.
People are, and even
But
the youth, the generation.
yeah, exactly. And they need to. I think if they can manage their professions and also take care of their health, emotional health, physical health, mental health. Mental well-being is very, very important. Um, because the way you deal with the stresses, anxieties, and stuff like that, it's very important. So I think I want to become very, very good at dealing with my health as well. I think so. Yeah, that's where I see myself. Developing as a human being besides careers.
Yeah, man, that's dope, man. When I'm speaking to you, like, I get inspired also,
Mm.
as a human being, as a guy who has dreams, who's also like trying to succeed at something. We may not be on the same path, but it also like touches me
Yeah.
how other people are thinking. Because, with what I do, podcast and stuff, you get to like interact with people, and you get to like hear how other people are thinking, and it's really like touching,
Very, very.
and it gives you that like that hope
Mm.
in whatever I'm doing. Like, okay, this gonna
Yeah.
happen and stuff. But the last question is, um how important it is as a child, teenager, or as a human being to have a mentor.
Have mentor,
Yeah.
bro. It's it, it's huge. I can't put it in any simpler than that. If I think, like, especially us as younger folks, we do need guidance. In this life, it's easier to get distracted or to just fall and go down the wrong route. And myself, especially, even these days, I sometimes even go down the wrong path that I know I'm not supposed to take, but it's because you are young. You haven't, you don't have experience, like
Yeah.
real life experience. So you just need somebody to just give you a little
Hey,
example.
hey, come back, wake up,
wake up. Yeah.
This is gonna happen now.
Exactly. I mean, um, especially if you know, I, like, I know there are a lot of people like myself. We grew up in the Kasi, and
I'm one of them.
Exactly. There's a lot of things that are happening in the casino. There are a lot of good things, but also
There are a lot of bad things also.
So I think you do need somebody who's gonna just guide you down the right direction. But I think one thing that people who are older than us do, one mistake that they do is that they their approach is incorrect when it comes to, like, you should speak uh the same languages that young boy or that young girl, and tell him, like, hey, I also used to do that. I mean, we know you want to chill on the block.
You wanna do this, you wanna do
Yeah,
that,
but
you wanna be cool.
yeah, you want to be cool. We were also there, but no, that's not the right path to take. And I know, like, bro, it's totally different when it comes to people who grew up in Durbanville, bro. I mean, your dad is a CEO of a company.
You have a mentor inside your house.
Yeah, but I think, like, for us guys with not without such a good privileged background, you do need a mentor, especially in those early stages. But also as you grow older, I said it before, when it comes to career as well, you do need mentorship and guidance, from people who are more senior than you. I think if you can decide the career path you want to pursue, if you want to become a professional athlete, if you want to become a software engineer, if you want to become a doctor, speak to people who are doctors.
Yeah, man.
They may not be accessible to you,
But
get in touch with them. Tell them, hey, how did you do it? And
go to LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's a heck.
That's like one of